Has come by, and God knows I've tried. Still, I'm here.
Welcome back to Getting on My Nerves. This is season 2 recap. My name is Angie Sudeth Walsh, and I have my beautiful co-host with me, Sophie Ward.
Hi guys, and we're so thrilled to be able to do these recaps because we think it's just great to just reflect and just celebrate the guests that we've had on and the stories that have been told.
Yes, because each one had such an impact, not only on me and Sophie, but people were reaching out to us when they aired and was like, wow, like, I can't believe this person went through that. Like, is that true? Like, yeah, it's true.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and it makes people feel less alone, and that's what we want people to feel, because chronic illness of any kind is very lonely. Even mental illness is very, very lonely. So we just don't want people to feel like they're suffering alone, and there is other people out there that are suffering, but also have healed and are also doing the work as well.
Yes, exactly. So our very first guest on season 2 was Angie Mackey. She has a nonprofit 501c3 called One Lyme, where she actually, all the money that she raises goes directly to Lyme patients. And that was started because she knew someone that was living in their car, unable to afford treatment, no home, no job, no family to help.
Which is the sad reality, because it's happening all over the world all the time. And, you know, we should never have to go through that for our own health. And it's so sad that it gets to that point. And obviously, like Angie said, she's got a heart that bleeds and she just wants to help everybody. And that's what really sparked her to be like, we need to sort this out. There needs to be help in place for these people.
Right.
So what she's doing is just so amazing. And the fact that she's really diving deep and from the heart and just trying to help in any way, she can. And it's great that she's got a husband's support on it as well.
Yeah, her husband Arlo is really nice. Like, I've known Angie for several years, and I've been through, when she's been going through all this, when she had, when they finally found that she had the tumor in her brain and she had to shave her head, and it hurt for a while when she was trying to grow her hair back. It actually hurt. And that woman could rock any wig, any color hair. Like, she totally, pulled it off. And it was amazing to see her. And I know she had many dark days as well, but she always has a positive thing to say. She always ends everything on a positive note, no matter how dark her day is or what she's going through.
And she's, like we said before, the thing she's gone through. I know, I was sat there on the interview just absolutely taken aback, silence, because she's also had viral meningitis, which I've had a couple of times now, and like she said, you don't survive. A lot of people don't survive through it. I've got trauma from it. A tumor from it, and I've had all the trauma in my head, and my hearings have been affected. And it's like, oh my gosh, I was like, oh no, obviously I felt like you're a survivor. You've got holes in your skull now, and you're still here. You're still able to speak to us. You're still sharing your story. You're still helping people.
Yes.
And it was just so touching.
Yeah. And she has lost hearing in almost all of her hearing in one ear and some in the other ear. So if I forget sometimes, and I'll talk to her and she won't hear me, and I'm like, she don't hear me? I'm like, oh yeah, duh, she doesn't hear.
Bless her.
It was really, I don't know, it was just really inspiring. And when I was feeling emotional during her interview as well. And I was like, oh my gosh, Angie, don't cry, because it just really, listening to her, even though I was friends with her while she was going through a lot of this, hearing it again from this angle was, I don't know, it struck a chord with me.
It was difficult, but again, it's one of those stories, it starts off quite traumatic, and now you can see everything that she's done. And obviously we look up to her with what she's done with her nonprofit and how she runs it now, because that's the goal for our nonprofit as well. So again, it was great to hear her advice and how she went about everything, because we're still learning over here, and she's rocking it. So
right. Yeah, she's doing good, because she launched it in October of 2018. So she's
it's not even that long.
Right. What is that? 6 years now? 5.5, 6 years. So, and then we talked about collagen. and the dangers of collagen with
Yeah.
Lyme, because both Angie and I have experienced that, unfortunately, and we're still trying to unravel what happened
That.
to us. So
Yeah.
it's if you haven't watched that episode, it's season 1, or I'm sorry,
Yeah.
season 2, episode 1, and we talk about how collagen goes in and will awaken the Lyme, because Angie and I were both in a wellness place, and the collagen feeds the Lyme and the co-infections, and it will wake it up. We both gained a lot of weight from it, and we were still working to get it off. It's like all this inflammation in our body, trying to get rid of it. Um, it, she wasn't on it as long as I was, but it really does a number on you. Your skin, hair, and nails will look fabulous, but you will feel
Your
awful.
insides are horrendous.
Yes. So then you got to work to get all that back asleep and get yourself back to a wellness state. And so there are natural ways to get your collagen. You can use like beef bone broth. And if you have a meat allergy, I'm not giving medical advice, but you can still have bone broth because it's from the bone. It's not from the meat. Egg whites, beans, fish, and then you need to make sure you're getting enough vitamin C so that your body can make the collagen. Like all of your daily vitamins are so essential. Your trace minerals are so essential because they all work together and they do all kinds of things in your body. So a lot of times we'll just pop supplements or we'll do this or
Yeah.
that. And we're like, well, why isn't it working? Because you're not
Yeah.
fixing the root cause. So, and Angie and I, we both had to go back on treatment, unfortunately, from taking the collagen. And, but I mean, even though the information's out there, people still find it hard to believe because like, oh, your body needs collagen. Yes, it does, but you can't take it if you have Lyme. You can't take it in a supplement form.
Yeah.
So that was it was a really good interview.
Yeah, it was. No, she was great. She was really good.
And then we had Miss Shirley Brett on, and
Oh,
she is a licensed massage therapist here in Florida, and she has a website, ebhealthandbodyworks.com, where you can go if you're in the Florida area. I highly recommend you go and see Shirley. She has been my
100%.
massage therapist for, wow, I think since 2016. So
8 years.
yeah, 8 years. And she's helped me through some of my darkest times. And currently we're still working on my lymphatic system, but she is amazing. I was telling Sophie earlier, like I just saw her on Monday. Monday's my massage Monday. And so I go get my lymphatic massage. And it takes, when your lymphatic gets clogged and you have inflammation in your body, it's going to take you many, many months to get that straightened out. So you got to be patient. And it's very frustrating, but it does work. But she's like,
Yeah.
we talked about so much in that interview. What did you learn, Sophie?
I think it was just great to hear her expertise, and also she was quite open that, again, same with the therapist, you have to trust
Mhm.
what she's doing and how she's performing it on you, because that's where you're going to get the most effects. If you're guarded and shut off and not really open to everything she's exploring with your body, you're not going to see the results that you want to see. So
Right.
again, I think it was really great that she spoke about that side of things as well. And also, like, I know that, like you said, she's got a wealth of knowledge, she's got a wealth of experience, and she really takes care of her clients as well. And she sees them as friends and people that she really, really wants to help. She doesn't overcharge. She's very realistic with her prices. And it's, again, because she wants to help. And
Right.
that's a really big thing. Like I was saying, we own a spa here, my family do. And the amount of like spa therapists that want to come in and like rent chairs and things like that, but they want to charge a fortune. But
Right.
they also don't show the results. Like they just want to get the bag and walk out. And it's not like that. You want people that are real people
Yeah.
and have a personality, are caring, are understanding, compassionate, and trustworthy.
Healers.
Like that's what you go for.
There's so many healers in this world, whether you are a coach or a therapist or a massage therapist, or maybe you're a hairdresser or whatever. Like you get into that because you want to help people feel better. You're a healer. There's all different kinds of healers, all different levels of healing. But again, like what Sophie was saying, you your energy has to speak to whomever you're working with. And it's
Yeah.
so true with massage therapists, because I've had a lifetime of massages because of dealing with Lyme disease. But like, I can tell you, there was a lot of people when I would go to some of these places, they were afraid to touch you when you would tell. I didn't know I had Lyme at the time, but I'd say fibromyalgia, lupus. Oh, they were just, and it was like, okay, I should have just taken that money and thrown it out the window because it didn't even help. And for me,
Yeah.
massages are not fun. People are like, oh, go enjoy your massage. And I'm like, it's not fun. It hurts. Like every time I get a massage,
It's
it
a
hurts.
treatment.
Yes,
It's not something that's like self-care. Well, it is self-care,
it is.
but you've got to see it as a healing treatment,
Right,
not just something you're doing for a day out, is what I'm trying to say.
right. Yeah. Because there's a lot of times where I'm like, now I know I'm going to feel better afterwards, but like I just got my
It's
massage
daunting
Monday.
going in.
Yeah. But like it usually takes me 2 days after like a lymphatic massage, and I might have a
Yeah.
headache or not feel, if I have a lot that's being flushed out. And then, but I will, even when I get like a regular massage, it will hurt like a mother trucker, but like a couple days, even like 5 days later, I'm like, oh yeah, that feels better now. That's looser now. That's
Yeah.
not pinching anymore. But I think, I don't know, maybe I can count on one hand the number of times that I've actually been like, oh, that was a nice massage, very few
Yeah.
and far between. So, but we
But
learned a
yeah,
lot
no,
from Shirley.
Shirley was great.
'Cause-
Yeah. And also very trustworthy. If you're
Yes,
looking for a therapist that you will feel comfortable with, then
yes,
Shirley's definitely the woman to go to.
yes, definitely. Then we had Dr. Armand.
Oh, yeah.
Armand Labs, like Sophie and there's no better labs in the world than Armand Labs.
No,
We love Dr. Armand. He's just like, he's the best. He's so
he is
knowledgeable.
the best. He is. And like we said before, like he's just so grounded still, and that's so great. He'll help any Lyme warriors and talk about his own personal stories, his testing, everything that he's personally been through with the struggles of Lyme as well, and how he wants to help. But it's just great. Like he just puts himself out there, and he's again very, very open, which is not what you're used to when it comes to like the medical side of things. So it's
Yes,
great that he can just be so open and help us as like Lyme awareness people, like campaigners, to be like, I'll come on your podcast, I'll support you, like I'll back you,
yes,
I'll come back on. And that's great.
yes. And he's so knowledgeable in the way he speaks. Like it can
Yeah.
get kind of medical at times, but like I don't ever
Yeah.
feel like he tries to talk down to you or anything. It's
No.
always
Oh,
like,
no, no, no.
this is how it
Yeah.
is. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yes, I do.
Yeah, I love him. He's great.
So he I found it fascinating that he was talking how ticks are 40 million years old. Like, is that not
Yeah.
crazy? But of course, like the Lyme that we deal with and have been dealing with for many, many years is a bioweapon. So bioweapons are created in a lab. They usually have an anecdote, but I've done some research with about that with the Lyme, and something happened with the Russians and the Nazis, and it was like before, I think it was before World War II. It was like right in that time, and the Russians had created the Lyme, and they
Yeah.
had an antidote, and the Nazis wanted the Lyme, but they did not want the antidote. That was part of their treaty or whatever that they did. I'll have to start this to you, because I met a gentleman last year, and he sent me a bunch of books and articles and stuff to read about this. I found it fascinating because that's a whole part of the story that we
Yeah.
have not really been educated on. So when you meet someone that has different pieces of the puzzle to put in, and Armin, he's been working with the testing of, he's come so far, because you were talking about
He
your
has.
experience with his lab.
Yeah, 100%. Like obviously when I got tested in 2017, his labs weren't sort of taken seriously, let's just say, by the UK. So when I got tested, they just said they were fake, they were false because they were done in a lab that was not in the UK. So they didn't stand. So I was mentally unstable, there was nothing wrong with me and I was making it up. Whereas now we've reached the point where they are recognised in the UK. So hopefully no one will ever have to go through what I went through with that. And obviously now he's branched out to America, which is just amazing. He's just taken on the world slowly, slowly but surely.
Right. Yeah, because he's now got accreditation in the United States, which I think is fabulous. Because when
Yeah.
people are like, "Well, where should I go get tested?" I'm like, "Duh, Armin Labs, like the hands down the best." Igenix is good. That's where I got my testing done back in 2014. But my first test, I don't know what it was done through because the doctor that did it, but it came back CDC positive. So,
Yeah.
and what Armin does, like you were talking about when you first had your testing done, then he came out with a more advanced
Tickplex.
version.
Yeah. Yeah, Tickplex. That was really great because that showed you how many strains of Lyme you had, at like what levels you had it, and also any other tick-borne diseases that you may have picked up. Because as we know, ticks carry up to six other infections when they infect you. So it might not just be Lyme that you're dealing with. You might have a number of different viruses that are attacking you and bringing out different symptoms that you may not understand.
Right.
So testing like that is just amazing. And I know you were saying the test that he's now brought out in America is next level as well, with the whole cancer at one end of the scale, Lyme disease at one end of the scale.
Okay. Yeah, the CD57 test. I had that done. That was part of my test that was done in December 2013. That doctor tested for it. And what the CD57 test is what I was told is your numbers are supposed to be between 60 and 120. If it's above 120, it's an indication for AIDS or cancer. If it's below 60, it's an indicator for Lyme. And the lower your number from 60 down is they can tell approximately how long you've had it and maybe even help you be able to decide or figure out when you were bit. So for me, my number was 13. So my doctor was able to say, okay, we think it happened somewhere between 1997, 1998. 1997, when I was on that cruise, like I totally was able to pinpoint it down. And then me telling the symptoms and stuff that I had from thinking I had the flu, it wasn't at all. So that test, like I saw, there was someone, well, I think they're in Sweden or something. They were posting a new thing that includes the CD57 at Armin Labs, along with a bunch of other things. It goes really more in depth. He's just amazing because he constantly is making his lab test better. He's improving. He's becoming more advanced. So like what we were talking about before is like, maybe when you get your lab results, you're back here, but with Armin Labs, you start up here because you get more in-depth information as how to go in and treat.
And also, like, obviously Armin has his own health problems, but it doesn't let him stop him. And also he's faced so much backlash from different countries and organizations, and he's just not let it stop him. He just knows his cause and purpose in life, and he's just going for it. And you've got to give him every credit for that, because that takes balls.
Oh yeah, it does. It takes bullocks.
New word for Angie today.
I just learned what that means. I've been walking around saying balls and did not know that's what bullocks was. I thought it meant something else. Something less. Anyway, but yeah, Armin, he's amazing. Hands down, arminlabs.com. You can find him on Facebook, Instagram. He's literally everywhere right now.
Everywhere.
He's at conventions. He was at ILADS. He invited Sophie and I to his labs in Germany, which we're so excited. I totally want to do that. I would love to do that. And are you going to get to see him when he comes to London?
I need to have a look into that, really, because he said next month, but I've looked on his Facebook and he hasn't put anything up yet. So I don't know whether he's going to put anything up or not.
I know if he comes to Florida, I will make sure I see him, because he said he was going to come to Florida at some point, but I'll just have to I'll have to keep tabs on him and see when he's coming. Because I know he goes over to the Gulf side, like in Sarasota and around that area, because he loves the markets, what do they call them? Oh, brain fart.
Farmers market.
Yes. Thank you, Sophie. You're like we're on a game show. Yes, that's the word I'm thinking of. And Dr. Armin said he would come back to talk about more
Yes, which
COVID and even do Lyme awareness again next year. So we're excited.
yeah,
We love Armin.
100%. Yeah, we do
We're
love Bob.
brainwashed about Armin in his lab, so like you can't. There's just no hope for us. Then our next guest on season 2 was me.
Yes, it was. And for both of our interviews, we wanted to really just share our story and give you a brief overview of everything that we've been through. And then next year, go down different avenues of the topics that we discuss in our overview this year. So I know we went deep because we spoke about family, we spoke about obviously your lowest point when you did lose a lot of weight and you felt like you lost yourself, and having to move back in with your parents and leave your children, which I know was so difficult for you. And again, it was great that you were able to open up and be open about it, because I know it's been hard for you the last couple of years leaving your children, especially at the ages of 11 and 14 like they were.
Yes. It's very painful. And like when I talk about that, I kind of like just have to separate myself from it and just talk about it like I'm just reading a billboard or something, like I can't allow emotion to get into it, or else I'll just be all over the place. But it was a very, very horrific time in my life. And when I look back at what I've went through and where I am now, like I'm proud of myself, and I'm proud of my kids, and my mom, like she's stuck by me. And so many people, they cast judgment and they say things and they have no idea what you're dealing with, so like please don't do that to people. If you don't understand what someone's going through, keep your mouth shut. Don't say anything. Especially don't say things about someone behind their back. It will get back to them. And if you can't say something to someone's face and it can't be nice, then it's the old thing, like don't say anything at all. I just there was a lot of stuff in the interview, and like this is funny too, because Sophie and I talked for 4 hours, 4.5 hours that day. We were just sitting on Zoom, catching up, talking about all kinds of stuff, the wedding and, all kinds of things. And so then she's like, well, kind of time to do your interview. And I was like, oh man, I did my hair and my makeup, and like, I don't normally like look like this every day because I'm just like, whatever. So, so then, and I have gotten on here looking rough because like Angie Mackie's interview, that was a rough day for me. I was like, oh my Lord, like I don't know if I'm gonna make it through this. But there's times I think it's important though. Like that day you were struggling.
To show everything.
Yeah, to show everything. And I do make a point of like trying to do my hair and makeup and stuff for our interviews, because when I go back and look at it, it's a trigger for me. This is something I haven't shared. To see myself with no makeup on or my hair pulled up or back, it reminds me of when I was so sick and I could not, I couldn't take care of myself that way, and I didn't care to. And so when I see myself that way, I think I'm not putting care into myself, but there's still just some days where it's all you can do just to show up, forget about your hair, your makeup, all of that, and we still have days like that.
We do.
I mean, it was
touch and go today.
Yes, it was, because Sophie wasn't feeling well, and I was like, well, we don't have to do it. We can just not do recaps. It's okay. And I said, or we can do them later as a bonus, or, because I'm always understanding, because I know Sophie will not say, I can't do it. She will go through and pull through. She could be having a bladder infection and like, fever, everything. Now I can still do it. And I'm like, oh, so this is a secret. This is a secret, but there's a lot of times where I can feel Sophie's energy and I just know that she can't pull through. So I'm like, I'm not having a good day either. Let's just not do it today.
Angie.
We'll get it done. It's not like and we don't do that with guests. Well, we did have to last year when we were trying to get Jennifer's interview done. Poor thing, we had to cancel her 3 times because both of our health was just so poor. We weren't able to pull ourselves out of it to do it.
And that's something we've also learned is that we're better starting recording like March time when the weather's better.
Yes.
Because in the winter we're both absolutely useless, pointless. Like we've got flus, we've got colds, we've got sore throats. We just can't do anything.
Or Angie takes too much mushroom extracts and causes a month-long herx. Like it's just
Just what happens.
it's just what happens. And I learned my lesson, and then I'm able to teach others about that. So it's but yeah, like, you know, like something that I can talk about it next year when we do the interviews. Oh, I just saw your bun. I like your hair. It looks nice.
Oscar's like
I love buns, but I never can get mine to look other than like something sticking out of the top of my head. So, but I had wanted to talk about how, like, during those low times, I was to a point where I was using a walker, and then
Yeah.
I stood up one day when I woke up and I just fell to the floor because my legs wouldn't work. And I had to pull myself to the bathroom to go to the bathroom because my legs would not work. Then,
Yeah.
you know, when I tell people this, they don't always understand it because I'm like, I lost the ability to read and write or even speak well. My mom had to talk for me on the phone because there's something with your brain in neurological Lyme and Bart where people like talking like this couldn't do it. Because if you would ask me a question and if you'd ask me multiple questions, my brain would just like shut down. And I would talk very slowly because I couldn't get my words out. I couldn't find my
Yeah.
words. So that's when I started doing like my videos. We didn't have Facebook Live yet. That's how old things. But I would record a video and then I would upload it to like because I couldn't write the post anymore.
Raise awareness.
Yeah. So I mean, and there's so many things that we go through that we forget about because
Yeah.
when you're going through it, it's really dark, it's really bad.
Yeah.
When you come out of it, it's times like this where you're doing an interview or you're doing like when we do our podcast, like where things will pop in my head and I'm like, oh yeah. I think like it's your brain's way of protecting you from like
Yeah.
that
100%.
dark time. Like I just and like I told you, there's just things that I don't remember.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have that? I have like black areas when I try to go back into my memories.
Especially when I was going through treatment and the treatment didn't
Yes.
work.
Yeah.
And it made me flare more.
Mm-hmm.
Then I have like bits where I just don't know what happened.
I can tell you like from age 25 backwards, I have all of those memories. They're
Yeah.
pretty solid. But from 25 on, and there's like, and this is sad, but even like stuff with my kids or, you know, and especially going through treatment, like I do remember their birth of, you know, but like there's other things. There's something they were asking me about or telling me about. They're like, do you remember that? I had no memory of it. And I felt so bad because I was like, no, I don't remember that. But like, I just think your body is protecting you while you're going through such
100%,
horrific
yeah.
treatment and stuff. And you don't recall.
Yeah. No, I know. And it's hard. And, you know, through all the trauma, and again, you're another great example of an inspiring story because you've come out the other side, you know, you reached wellness until obviously we spoke about COVID and COVID striking you.
Yeah.
But also, you know, you're working to get to that place again. And through your own journey and what you've been through and how you've healed, that's when your like life coaching came into kick and you really tried to help people with your own experiences and what you've done. And again, helped people because you don't want people to feel less alone in their fight because you know exactly how you felt having to like move away from your kids and just uproot your whole life to get better and how upsetting it is.
Yeah. I like to say I'm a spiritual soul healing coach because I do help with health coaching. I'm not a doctor, but I can use my gifts to design a protocol for personalized protocol, whether it's with health coaching or emotional coaching, because I think like in my journey of all this, like what I realized is I had been concentrating so hard on the physical part of healing and I wasn't getting anywhere. And after I'd spent a week in the hospital, that's when I was like, I prayed and I said, please tell me what I'm missing. And that's when I received my release and refill exercise that I have everyone do, because it helps you release those toxic emotions that can be go all the way back in your life, you know, from childhood. It can even be connected to past lives. And then you refill with positive affirmations that you build onto in manifestations. So
Yeah.
I love coaching. I love all of it. Like I love doing readings.
Yeah.
Readings to me are like, it's something simple. The coaching is
Yeah.
where I really feel so passionate about, because when I can help someone and they're helping themselves with what they're doing, because it's a lot of hard work to work with me
Yeah.
as a coach. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I have to remember everything. Everyone doesn't go 500% like I do, but I go 500% with my clients. And
Yeah.
I can get you there, but you got to stick with me, and you're going to get mad at me, and you're going to be like, but I can take all that. But when I can help someone and then I see them thriving and doing so well, like I'm so proud of my clients,
Yeah.
you know? Like it's so
100%.
rewarding. And you're like,
Yeah.
hey, I can help this person, you know?
Yeah.
So, or I can help other people. But for me, like to work with me, I'm telling you, it takes 100% commitment. And when I design your protocol, you have to stick to it to a T, whether it's the health protocol or the emotional, mental healing, you know, soul healing coaching. It goes deep. It goes deep and it gets really, really hard, but it's so rewarding.
Yeah.
And I've done all of it. Like I said, I put
Exactly.
myself
You
into.
personal experience.
Yes. So I've done the emotional healing on me, and I've worked with other people too to learn things, you know, emotion code
Yeah.
and different stuff. But like my protocol, I design all my protocols. I work, like I research all the time. And you know, I got a little impatient with my mushroom extracts this year. So I went too quickly and threw myself into a month-long herc. So now I know, like I gotta be, you know, I think all those things happen for a reason though. So
Yeah,
that,
of course they do.
yeah, then I can help people like, don't do this because it happened to me.
Yeah, definitely.
So
Personal experience.
yes. So if you're interested, I'm just going to shout my website out. It's
Definitely do.
theoraclewoman.com. And I'm on Facebook and Instagram, but I haven't been posting much the past couple years because I've been on treatment, but I'm coming out of that and I'm planning on
And
getting,
also you post a lot on Nerve of Mine, to be fair.
I know
That
that's
takes up most of your time now.
my one, my friend that designed my website, she was like, you know, you post all the time for Nevermind, but I don't see you posting for you. And I'm like, you know what? Right now, Nevermind is all I can handle. I'll get my stuff as I get better in my, you know, my healing here. So I'm feeling like I want to come back and start doing lives and
Yeah,
with readings and coaching tips and oh, my books are open for coaching clients and reading. So just reach out
which
to
is
me.
great.
Yes, Sophie,
100%.
you have a reading coming up on June 5th.
Yeah.
But
To
I read for
hopefully
you.
navigate the wedding stress.
I know. You said you wanted a reading. I'm like, oh Lord. Like,
Hold on to your pants.
right? But you had a reading with me back in 2019, you and your mom did.
Yeah.
And didn't I tell you that you were going to meet James?
Yes.
I said like a brown-haired guy, you know, his hair's it's blondish brown. But it was like, and I kept seeing this bar. Like I kept seeing this bar. I was like, I said, I feel like that's who you're gonna marry. Not trying to tell your reading, but oh
And then
James.
he built a bar in the back garden during COVID.
Yes. Yes. You guys, your story is amazing. Now you're getting
Oh,
married. It's so nice to see people, you know, meet who they're supposed to be with and then grow from there. Which
yeah.
brings us to our next guest, who is Sophie Ward, soon to be Sophie Short. I want to say I've done very well, sort of, with the names. Like for season 2, I called you Sophie Ward, and then like season 3, I think I called you Sophie Short
Well,
for a couple.
well, James isn't happy with me about that because I still want to keep Ward because I want to do Ward short. And
Okay,
he's like, why don't you just want one name? Why don't you just want to take my name? And I'm like,
one name.
because I'm an independent woman and I still want my own.
That's right. You know what? When I got married, I wanted to hyphenate my name, and my my now ex-husband, he wasn't too fond of that. So I was like, okay, fine, I'll take your name fully. But I always kind of like, that's why I have my professional name is Angie Sedith Walsh,
Yeah.
because that's what I wanted my name to be. And I
Yeah.
don't legally have it that way, but I may change it to that, you know? It's just a lot to do
Definitely.
that kind of stuff, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
Legally. In my mind, legally, I am Angie Sedith Walsh. I think it's important to
Yeah.
keep your maiden name because it's your roots. It's where you come from.
Yeah. And like James was like, well, the dogs are all short. I'm short. You look like you just adopted into the family. And I was like, that's fine. That's fine.
Didn't have a choice, you know, like they were going to get that name. It's kind of like your kids. Of course, you could have
Yeah.
your kids have Ward Short too. It's however you put it on there. He probably won't like that though.
No, he'll want short. He'll let it go for me, but he won't do it for the
Yeah,
children.
you get a pass, but the children, no, no. But I really, I, I was in. We gotta give credit to our volunteers, Liz and Jasmine, because they were the ones that suggested we should interview ourselves, and we hadn't really thought of that. We had thought of having someone interview
Oh,
us, but not
yeah.
really just interviewing each other. So, and Jasmine and Liz, they're the volunteers for Nerve of Mind and Getting on My Nerves. Liz does the YouTube channel, and Jasmine helps out with posting on Fridays and just other ideas with. She's getting us a free website. That's what's really cool. And
Yeah. She's
they're
and
both
LinkedIn. She's
wonderful.
done so much with LinkedIn as well, Jasmine.
Yes, she does LinkedIn too, because Sophie and I are like, we don't know about LinkedIn, so I'll do it. But I mean, they're both amazing girls and they're young and they're volunteering. Like, they don't get paid for it. We don't put a lot of pressure on them though, you know. I don't think we do. They may think so. But so with your interview, we were much more refreshed. We hadn't spoken for 4.5 hours and we got a lot covered. And even though I reached out, that's how we met, is I reached out to you in 2019 I was doing interviews on Facebook. Of course, most of those, except for Dr. Armand's and one of Dr. Ingalls, are gone because Facebook deleted my page. But Sophie, we talked about her book when I interviewed you the first time. And we brought her books available on Amazon.com. And what's it called again? Is
In
it
the limelight.
In the Limelight? Yes. And it's her story up to that point in 2018-19.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
But I mix up the chapters so that it doesn't completely follow on. It like breaks up. So I might go from a childhood to then like teenager being a swimmer and then health stuff and then being diagnosed. And like I just jump around because I think it makes it more interesting. It's a bit like a series when you're just waiting for the next chapter to read what's
right.
going to happen next. That's what I wanted, really.
Yeah. Well, and that like I liked it that way. I like books. I like books that are in chronological order because for me,
Yeah.
I'm able to remember it that way. But I liked yours because you did it in a way that it wasn't confusing. It flowed.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm glad that because when you've got like Lyme mind, you're like, I'm writing it all down, but does it actually make sense on the
I will say
page?
this, like there was like I do remember you having like wording errors and stuff, but I liked it because I was like, you know what,
Yeah.
that's like her brain on Lyme. It's very authentic. No, seriously, if you had taken out all the errors, like that's not how our brains work. And when we
Yeah.
write or we speak, a lot of times the wrong thing comes out, or
Oh, I do it all the time. Say the
oh,
wrong word.
I know, right? Like I'll think, oh, I know the really big word and I'll use it. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's not what that word means. So I'll be excited that I remembered a really big word. And then I'll be like, dang it, I don't think I used it right. So,
Damn it.
no, I try not to cuss on here, except for bollocks. But like your interview, like you went into your dark times, like the fact that we
Yes.
both went through suicidal moments, I think that helped us be able to connect to our guest more with,
Yeah.
and they had those moments. And it really, I know it got to you and me as well. Just hearing
Yeah.
someone that you care about and and personally, I think it's different. Even, I don't know, I'm emotional anyway. I know you are too. Like, we connect to people easily,
Yeah.
So when we know them and you hear, it's shocking to hear that.
And also, like, we know each other very well now. And we see each other as like sisters. And we know that we're fighters. So when we talk about like we wanted to give up, the other person's like, what? Like, you're a fighter, you've done all this campaigning, you've done all this, you've done your coaching, you've done books. Like, what? I don't understand. It's like you can't do the math in your brain, because that person is a fighter, and they would never actually give up. But why would they thinking that they should give up?
Right.
Not in their
It's a
DNA.
really dark place. I wouldn't wish it on anyone. I would never wish Lyme. That's what I always say, like, to people. I'm like, well, they don't get it because they don't have it, but we don't want them to have it. We don't want anyone to have Lyme or get sick with anything, but I mean, it happens. But being able to be that open and that authentic is what helps people through their times. Because I know that I had, during those times, I'm going to ask you if you did too, if there was people that you looked up to, they were getting through the Lyme treatment, they were achieving wellness, like, and they have been through very dark times themselves. And there's one guy I know, I would like to reach out to him and see if he'd like to be on next year. His name's Zach Alexander, and he's a coach for men. And I remember watching him, and like, he was so skinny. He was going through all of this different kinds of treatment. But then when he got to wellness, and then he just kept getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And I interviewed him in 2019 a couple of times. He's a wealth of spiritual information as well. But I told him, I'm like, I reached out to him once because he had posted, like, I did this, this, and this. This is what helped me. He wasn't saying this is going to help you. This is what I did. And I remember reading about it, and I was like, I would research each thing that he talked about. That's why we do what we do. When we tell you this helped us, this worked for us, but research it and see if it will work for you. Because like you said, how many strains of Lyme did you have?
3 strains: Asian, American, and European.
Okay. So when you see, I don't know, I know I had 2 strains of Bart and I had Babesia, but I had 12 bands for Lyme. I don't know what strains I had.
Oh, right, okay.
The bands that are positive.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Maybe you need to get a tick-plex test with Armin.
I really don't care. I know I was bitten in Costa Rica, so I mean, it was a Costa Rican tick. So I don't know. I don't want to know if that. I don't want to know anymore. I know I have it. I know, like, I'm getting it back into the wellness state, getting into sleep again. So, and that's, I've read things where people, they claim you can totally cure your Lyme disease or Bart. I don't know if that's possible. I know you can get yourself to a wellness place and you just keep building on that place of wellness to get stronger. But so I've actually, like, this year, I don't know if you have either, like with Lyme Awareness Month, I've felt, I have had more peace with it this year.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's hard because I think at first I threw myself in, like when I first got diagnosed, 2018, 2019, it was like all awareness, didn't really process what was going on, or like people's stories or whatever. I was just like, so much like, people need to know about this, people need to get tested, people need to be aware. That was like the main purpose. Then like COVID hit, and I think I felt like we lost our mojo a little bit. And that's when it sort of started to sink in that Lyme disease still isn't recognized, because like COVID was everywhere. Like COVID was getting so much backing behind it, and everyone was like so scared and like backing it. And the same with like cancer. And those couple of years like really knocked me, because I was like, how are we gonna rebuild the mojo back? And I think it's only really now, like 4 years later after COVID, that we're starting to like build again, and we can see the purpose.
Exactly.
But it's hard when you think that all your voices aren't being heard. and they're
Right.
not being recognized, and that we've still got so much work to do. It's daunting for us because
Yeah.
all we want to do is drive change and make it better for future generations.
Right. And you had done so much for Lyme awareness. You turned Blackpool green. You went on the
Yeah.
BBC with the interview. Like you were really, you were on a radio show a lot with, I remember, I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
He was really
Simon.
funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, to be honest, like again, I was trying to push myself out of my comfort zone. I was lucky enough to be asked from the BBC to go on. And at first I was like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. Like I can't talk in front of people. But like once I'd done it and like conquered the fear, I was like, right, this is something else for the campaign drive that I can offer. Like if I go on radio or do podcasts or whatever, or use my social media to do videos and things like that, it kind of gave me the confidence to branch out in that way. And I think it really did help. And it helped with my fundraising as well, being able to go out and actually speak to people and not be so shy. But then obviously when COVID hit, like everything just got a little bit smaller. But I was really, really lucky with the opportunities that I had at the time. And it did help the Lyme campaign in the UK anyway. And it just helped with my own confidence, and it made me almost become like a person again and not a label that was just a Lyme disease sufferer. Like I actually just wanted to become myself. You know, I'd gone from being an athlete that was like really high up in what she did to someone that was like wheelchair bound, not leaving the house, just was ill all the time. And I just wanted me back. Like I want, again, we get to that suicidal point where we like want to give up, we feel a burden, we don't feel like we're doing anything, we don't know our purpose, we don't know our whys anymore. And I needed something to give me that fire back,
Right.
to drive me up.
Yes. I think I can relate to that. And I know a lot of other people can as well, because when you get diagnosed with the disease, you're given a label. And it seems
Yeah.
to be at first like you're all about like saying everything that's wrong with you. I think it's because we were not believed that we were sick. And even when you get a
Oh yeah.
diagnosis, you're still not believed. So it's like you feel like
Yeah.
you have to prove, yes, I have all of these things. Or if you say something that people will recognize, oh, okay, I know what that is, then maybe she really is sick, you know? And
Yeah.
then like you throw yourself into the Lyme disease advocacy because it's you don't want anyone else to get it. You don't want anyone else to go through it. But then when you start getting yourself to a place of wellness, you don't want to be identified as a Lyme warrior or, you know, and it's not saying anything bad for people that do, but I'm just saying like for myself, and I think for Sophie as well, you don't connect anymore to that world.
Yeah.
You're in a place where you don't quite connect. You don't really know where you belong actually, because you're still
Yeah.
chronically ill, but you're not as bad as like you want to identify yourself as a Lyme warrior anymore, but you're not normal either.
Yeah. 100%. You hit the nail on the head there.
Yeah. So I think like a lot of us get away from the Lyme. I did. You get away from it, and COVID like was a good thing for me to do. Like I usually would do something for Lyme Awareness Month, but I'm just going to tell you, like for years, Lyme Awareness Month was a trigger to me, especially
Yeah.
last year, big trigger. This year, not so much. I was pretty chill with it.
Yeah.
And that's like you're part of
Yeah.
your healing too.
And the grieving process, like we said before, like anything can just trigger it. And it's okay to feel like you've gone backwards and just have that blip. It's absolutely fine. You're human, you're not a robot.
Right. 100%. So now you're doing things, you're planning your wedding, you'll be married in August. So exciting. Then you've started a clothing boutique, correct?
Yes. With one of my childhood best friends, actually. We went to primary school together, so like really young, met when we were like 4 years old. And then she went to a different high school and a different college, and we sort of parted ways. And then we've just sort of come, like Lyme actually brought us back together. Like she doesn't suffer with Lyme, but she reached out when I was going through it, and she was like, I can't believe you're going through this. Can I help? Can I donate? She's done a couple of fundraisers for me to raise money. And we just said, like, we just want to do something together to like bring our friendship back. And we
Right.
both love our dresses. We love our bright colours and getting dressed up. And we're at that age now as well where a lot of our friends are getting married. And finding a wedding guest outfit is quite difficult, to be honest,
Yeah.
because you want something bright, you want something cheerful, but again, it's like matching the hat with the shoes and the bag. So just trying to be like a one-stop shop where you can buy the dress and have the matching accessories, where you know it all goes, the colours all go and everything like that. So it'll be exciting. But we like started it and we like started like promoting it, and then we're like, right, we're gonna just get the wedding over, and then November, Black Friday sales, like hit them with like new suppliers that we've got in the bag, and just really bring like the Christmas party dress vibe, which will be fun as well.
That'll be really fun. I'm
Yeah,
excited to see, because I love how you use bright colors, and like I'm a bright color person too. And I did wear
yeah.
black for many years, but like I still have like I like my black.
Don't wearing black now.
Yeah, no. Hey, I wear colors. I ain't got black on.
Yeah.
No, I will tell you this. This is funny. Monday, I stopped in the grocery store and I had on a black dress and I was getting stuff at the deli, and the woman was like, "You're all pink." And I'm like, "I'm pink." Like, no. And she goes, "You're pink." And I said, "Oh, I got some color from because I get sun on my walks, I get my vitamin D and all that."
Yeah.
He goes, "You're pink." And I'm like, "Okay, thank you." Well, this
Thank you. Bye.
I'm like, "I'm not pink, but okay." But then I got to thinking about it. And this is important. This is like understanding how your vibration and your emotions, like people can see how you're feeling and stuff. I had just come from I had went and got my lymphatic massage. Then my son had sent me money for Mother's Day, and I went and got a mani pedi. And so I was so feeling the love from getting the mani pedi because I hadn't had one in many years. And I think I was pink from love. And I think that woman saw it and picked up on it. So I'm telling you, like your energy will speak for you, you
Yeah.
know? And like I've
So,
always told you, your your energy to me and your light is always so bright, so bright. And I mean, I told you years ago that you were going to make a lasting footprint on this world, and I still believe that. And you've went through struggles, you've had ups and downs, but you still stay on the course. And so like Sophie, your light is just so, so bright. It's so beautiful. And
and I know we keep saying we would definitely want to meet, and we hope that Nerve of Mind helps us meet in the future, where either I come over to America and we do like a conference there,
yes,
just to so we can all like be together.
when we have big plans, like for
We
Nerve
do
of
have big,
Mind, like we want to do conferences, whether they're in the UK or the United States, or we do both so that, everyone
yeah,
can come. Because when you're sick, you're not able to travel, easily.
travel.
But we also like one day we would love to have a treatment center where anyone could come for treatment that has
Yeah,
Lyme disease, and it's paid for by the
yeah,
donations. And we can have Western, we can have natural, we can have all different types of things in there. I mean, I've seen this for many years of us being able to do this, an accomplishment. And I still think it's years off, but I do know that it's there. And we have big, we haven't done any big fundraisers yet. We're working on them. We're trying to get them together. But it's like when to donate to us or whatever, 100% of your money is going to go to a Lyme patient. They're going to apply
yeah,
for a grant. Sophie and I, we're super like Jasmine, she'll be like, "Okay, you want to do this? It's going to cost this." And we're like, "No, we can get it for free, sure." Because we
yeah,
want 100% of our money to go
yeah,
to Lyme patients or even
yeah.
chronically ill. It's not just Lyme. If maybe you have MS,
Neurological or anything.
neurological.
Yeah,
Yes. So that was like, we didn't want to just have Lyme disease be the limit. We wanted it.
no,
And
yeah,
neurological illnesses, I mean, literally just about everything affects you neurologically. So
yeah.
we want to be able to help everyone. So if you were on the fence about donating to Nerve of Mind, you just know that 100% of the money will go to Lyme patients. Sophie, where can we find your dresses for like when you come back for Black Friday? And
So it's at chronic.obsession on TikTok. So there's a few videos up there, and we have our website link in the bio in TikTok as well. We
okay.
haven't really set up the Instagram page yet. We're still working on that. But
Okay.
hopefully come November, we'll be on the ball with it.
Okay.
after all the wedding dress.
I'm excited. 'Cause, you know, like British people, English, I don't know what you guys say. Um, I do, but it's just not in my brain right now. Your hats and your gloves and your purses and the dress. I love when you all get dressed up because it's just that's what I love. But in America, people don't wear stuff like that unless you're going.
No, it's such a shame.
Funeral seems like people wear stuff like that. Or even if you get all dolled up like that for a wedding, be like, what are you doing that? Are you in the wedding? No.
Just wanted to be here as a guest and be glamorous. Okay.
I want to be glamorous. That should be your tag, you know. I just want to be glamorous, you know?
Well, we made it as like so you can look iconic in every outfit.
Mm, yes, I like that. So you have your podcast, Chronic but Iconic,
But iconic.
and that's on Spotify.
Spotify, yeah.
And you've been doing that for many years now. And you talk about your journey.
2019, yeah,
Yeah.
2019 I started. Again, I'd done radio for a year at that point, and the radio station that I worked at, when COVID hit, they actually had to close it because that was run on donations and through the council. So the money wasn't there being pumped into it. So I was like, right, like I enjoy like speaking, sharing people's stories and like getting guests on and things. So I was like, let's start a podcast. I can do it from home. You know, I can set it up myself and be in full control. I'm not having to like travel to a radio station and all that faff. So that's sort of really the idea behind it. And I just really wanted, like we're doing here, just have great people on, but also talk about like horrible chronic illness topics that a lot of us don't want to talk about and actually confront and be open about.
Right.
But I wanted it to make it more of an easy process of talking about it, thinking if I shared my personal experience or got guests on that shared theirs, it would make people feel more comfortable to do it themselves at home and open up with their own family and friends.
Yes, I agree. I think that's a good way to look at it too. Like, if you think about it, Sophie, you turned 30 this year. Look at all of the things you have done. Like you've been an Olympic, you've won, you kind of skirted over that, you know, like, oh, I was a swimmer. No, you were an Olympic medalist. You won in the Junior Olympics, like, and you were going to the big Olympics, you know, like that's something to skirt over because I've always watched the Olympics my whole life. I loved like the Summer Olympics were my favorite. I'd watch the winter too, but like to see those people win medals for their country and represent their country, that's just like, that's amazing, you know?
Yeah.
And I know
everything.
that chapter closed for you, but you should still be so proud of yourself, you know?
You probably feel it as well. Like when you go through health and stuff, you feel like you've lived about 3 different lives in one life, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, my human life doesn't even feel like a life that I had in this lifetime.
Right.
It feels like I've like died, come back to life, and I'm now a different person, and I'm having to live a different life because it's so worlds apart from the life that I had. So I find it really hard to like go back and like put myself in that position because, you know, it's nearly 16 years since I quit swimming, which was like half of my life. So now it's like I've had to like rebuild and redirect. So now it just feels like a completely different me, which I guess is sad. But I also try and think, you know, I've done the grieving for it. I'm trying to pave a new way, onwards and upwards. Obviously, I'm so thankful for my swimming. Like it gave me my discipline. It made me like strict with routines. It gave me my motivation and my determination, which I needed for Lyme.
Right.
And, you know, it did set me up for life. And I'm always so grateful for that. And I would never have changed anything, even though, you know, it got me sick and I pushed my body way too much. But it, you know, it's part of life. And I loved it. And my dad always says, when you got in the pool, you're a shy girl on the pool side. As soon as you got in the pool, that was it. It was like Killer Sophie was in mode. No one was beating her. She was getting that record. She was getting that medal. And completely different person.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And I get it. You know, the things that you've done that were part of your life before you knew you had Lyme, once you know, it does go away. It is like a past life because it is, and some of us, we've had near-death
Yeah.
experiences where we did actually die and we came back. And
Yeah.
it is like you're starting fresh. It's really strange. It's really strange.
Yeah. It's strange.
Well, Sophie, I think season 2 has been a success.
A blast.
Yes. Success and a blast. We had great guests on. We were able to
Yeah.
tell more about ourselves and our stories.
Yeah.
And the things that we're doing now. So we're planning on doing that every year. Like
Yeah.
giving a different topic into our past. What we're gonna
Which I think will be
dig up. But again, if anyone is interested in getting on my nerves next year for seasons 4 and 5,
reach out to us on Instagram or Facebook or wherever you watch, even on YouTube. Reach out to us if you watch us on YouTube.
Definitely. We'd love to have you on. And
Yeah.
so we're done. This is it. We're done with the 2.5 months of podcasting. So it was
We
rough
hope you've enjoyed.
for a while. I felt like in America, we had this Dunkin' Donuts commercial a long time ago where the guy was like, he did the same thing every day and he was like, got to make the donuts. I was like, got to do the podcast.
That's it.
But it was good. It was good. So I'm looking forward to next year, and you'll be a married woman the next time we're on. So it's exciting. I love hearing about all your wedding stuff. So make sure that you like, share, subscribe to our channel. We need subscribers on here, and we want to get more people on. And if you have like a podcast episode idea, just feel free to shoot those.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Until next year, see you guys later.
And hold on to the good memories. We climbed up the mountains and fell in the deep. We were holding on to something, then we lost belief. We're in the middle of a nightmare, hoping soon we'll wake up. And we used to be there when the morning comes, when the morning comes.